Alright, so in this video we're going to go over how to make a simple insert mesh brush. So the one I'm going to make for this guy is I'm going to make some teeth. Um, this is a great tool to use when you have like a repeating form that you want to place multiple of on your model. So to get started, I got my model here, and then in a new subtool I have created a tooth shape, and I just start with the sphere and just sculpted it out. So the first thing to keep in mind is when you create your brush, it's going to look at the orientation of the model to the camera, and that's going to determine how it draws in on the model. So if I want my tooth to be coming out vertically, then I have to point the model facing the camera. So I have it oriented how I want. Now I'm going to open the brush menu, press Create Insert Mesh, press New. We'll have our new mesh up here. And now I can go over to my model. I just Alt and click on my model to switch subtools. And now if I go ahead and use my select lasso tool to isolate this bottom jaw, I can start to go in and click and drag in my tooth. Now you'll notice that it's kind of sitting on the surface, which is not quite what we want. And we could just go to our move tool and move them into place. But with the insert mesh tool, we can go to the brush settings, down to depth, and we can adjust this gizmo right here. And when we do that, make sure we're back on our insert mesh brush. We can pull this circle down, and this determines how deep into the surface it draws the mesh. So now when we draw them in, they'll be inset a little bit into the model. And it masks off everything but the current one you just drew in. So this is great to go back to your move tool, and you can just start to slightly adjust them and get them where you want to be. So we got some teeth drawn in, and of course I could go back in and do the top ones, but depending on the model in question, you may want to either at this point go ahead and Dynamesh everything together and sculpt on that transition, or in the case of teeth, I like to have them separated into their own subtool. So an easy way to do that is to make sure everything's unmasked. So I just control and swipe outside the mesh to clear the mask. I went one too far and Dynameshed. So I'll go back to my draw mode. And if we look at the polygroups right now, the body's one and all the teeth are another. So we can go ahead and Control Shift click on the body to isolate it, Control click outside to mask it, then Control Shift click outside to bring everything back. Now we have the body masked and the teeth unmasked. And then we can go in our subtool menu, we can go down to split, and then we can split unmasked points. And that'll put our teeth on a new subtool. So that way you can start to sculpt around these and have the teeth be independent of that. So that's how you do an insert mesh brush. And you could use this for like teeth or spines or horns, or maybe you got a bunch of repeating fins. It's a very powerful tool to have.